Knight Rider wasn't just a cheesy 80s TV show with a talking car. It was a revolutionary production that transformed the way audiences connected with machines, creating one of pop culture's most iconic vehicles in the process. What viewers never saw was the chaos behind KITT's sleek black exterior. The melted dashboards under hot studio lights, the fleet of destroyed Trans Ams that producers desperately tried to hide from Pontiac executives, the stunt driver who refused to speak to David Hasselhoff for an entire season, and the electronic voice box that literally caught fire during filming. Today, we're diving into 20 weird facts about Knight Rider's K.I.T., the 1982 Trans Am that changed television forever. 1. The original K.I.T. wasn't black. K.I.T. wasn't always the sleek black machine that raced across our screens. The original concept called for a silver car. When Universal Studios approached Pontiac for vehicles, designer Michael Schaeffer received a batch of brand new 1982 Trans Ams in various colors, none of them black. The production team had to scramble, repainting all the vehicles just days before shooting began. What's more shocking, the iconic glossy finish wasn't automotive paint at all. To achieve KITT's distinctive sheen under studio lights, they used a custom-formulated acrylic coating designed for musical instruments. This experimental finish required complete reapplication every 3 days of filming, with crew members working through the night to maintain the car's perfect appearance. It's why K.I.T. seems to have an almost supernatural glow in night scenes. It literally wasn't reflecting light like a normal vehicle. 2. There were 23 different KITTs. The sleek Trans Am you saw on screen wasn't one car but many. Universal Studios initially purchased 4 1982 Pontiac Trans Ams, but by the end of the first season alone, they had gone through 11 vehicles. By series end, a staggering 23 different cars had played the role of K.I.T. Each K.I.T. served a specific purpose. Hero cars for close-ups with actors, stunt cars for jumps and crashes, process cars with removed windshields for interior dialogue shots, and even partial KITTs, just fragments of the vehicle used for specific detail shots. The continuity nightmares were endless. Watch closely and you'll spot mismatched dashboards, shifting interior colors, and even occasional glimpses of different license plates between cuts. One episode featured 6 different K.I.T.s, with attentive viewers spotting differences in everything from the steering wheel to the shade of the tinted windows. 3. K.I.T.'s voice box almost killed a cameraman. The pulsating red voice box became K.I.T.'s most recognizable feature, but it nearly ended the show before it began. The original voice modulator wasn't a CGI effect but a physical light installation requiring so much power it melted its housing during the pilot episode. The redesigned unit used custom-built aircraft strobe lights that generated extreme heat. During a night shoot in Season 1, the unit shorted out, sending a shower of sparks across the set and setting fire to a camera operator's jacket. From that point forward, the voice box could only be illuminated for 30-second intervals before requiring a cooldown. This is why many dialogue scenes show K.I.T. from the exterior. They physically couldn't keep the effect running during long conversations. The production manual explicitly warned crew members never to touch the voice box assembly without protective gloves, and the car needed a dedicated technician whose sole job was managing this dangerous feature. 4. William Daniels never visited set. Despite voicing K.I.T.T for 4 seasons and becoming inextricably linked with the character, William Daniels, the actor behind K.I.T.'s sophisticated voice, never once visited the Knight Rider set or sat in the actual car. Daniels recorded all his dialogue in post-production, often months after scenes were filmed. What most viewers don't realize is that during filming, Hasselhoff wasn't talking to Daniels at all. On set, K.I.T.'s lines were read by a production assistant named John Linton, who sat curled up in the Trans Am's trunk with a microphone. This uncomfortable arrangement led to numerous production delays, as Linton frequently suffered leg cramps and once even passed out from heat exhaustion during a desert shoot. Daniels later admitted he took the voice role primarily for the paycheck, initially considering it beneath him as a serious actor. He didn't even watch the show until its 3rd season, when his grandchildren discovered he was the voice of KITT and begged to meet the talking car. 5. KITT's dashboard was literally garbage. The futuristic interior that dazzled viewers wasn't high-tech at all. KITT's dashboard displays were cobbled together from discarded electronic components the production designer salvaged from a Sony factory dumpster. The colorful buttons weren't connected to anything. They were painted bottle caps and refrigerator drawer knobs. Behind the scenes, stagehands manually activated each light by following a complex cue sheet. The dashboard screens showing diagnostics and maps. They weren't screens at all, but printed transparencies with Christmas lights behind them. The crew called it KITT's Kindergarten because it resembled a child's craft project. The setup was so fragile that air conditioning couldn't be used during filming because it would blow the components out of alignment. This led to temperatures inside the car reaching over 100 degrees during summer shoots, with Hasselhoff requiring oxygen breaks every 20 minutes. One particularly hot day, 3 dashboard components actually melted on camera, requiring a hasty explanation that K.I.T. was overheating from exertion. 6. Pontiac tried to shut down the show. Pontiac's initial enthusiasm for Knight Rider quickly soured when they discovered how their cars were being modified. The company had provided the Trans Ams with the understanding they would be minimally altered and returned in sellable condition. When executives visited the set and saw their vehicles gutted, structurally compromised, and jumping off ramps, they were horrified. By mid-season 1, Pontiac issued a cease and desist letter demanding the production stop mutilating their vehicles. The letter specifically cited modifications to the suspension system that made the cars unsafe for road use. Producer Glenn Larson personally flew to Detroit with footage showing how KITT was boosting Trans Am sales. The standoff ended with a compromise. Pontiac would continue providing cars if the show added a disclaimer that the stunts were simulated and performed by professionals in controlled environments. The irony? Nothing was simulated, and several stunt drivers quit over safety concerns. One driver later revealed they went through 8 transmissions in a single episode filming the famous turbo boost jump scenes. 7. The KITT effect nearly bankrupted Pontiac dealers. While Knight Rider boosted Trans Am sales, it created an unexpected nightmare for Pontiac dealers. Showrooms were flooded with customers demanding the KITT package, requesting cars with identical features to the TV star. When told such modifications weren't available, many customers accused dealers of holding out on them. The situation became so problematic that Pontiac issued an official dealer memo outlining how to handle KITT customers. Some enterprising dealers began offering unofficial Knight Rider editions, regular Trans Ams with cosmetic modifications and basic voice modules that said pre-recorded phrases. These unauthorized packages led to multiple lawsuits when customers discovered their cars couldn't perform like the TV version. One Michigan dealer reportedly sold 38 KITT edition Trans Ams before being shut down by Pontiac. The factory eventually relented, producing a limited K.I.T. appearance package with the black paint and tan interior, but explicitly stating in the contract that the car did not talk or jump over obstacles. 8. KITT's most famous feature was a happy accident. The iconic sweeping red scanner light on KITT's nose wasn't in the original design. It was added after a focus group viewing the pilot complained they couldn't tell which car was supposed to be special. With just 3 days before the final cut was due, production designer Michael Scheffe grabbed components from a broken Atari console and a Panasonic VCR to cobble together the scanner. What's remarkable is that the scanner was never meant to be permanent. It was hastily attached with double-sided tape as a temporary fix, while a proper solution was developed. But when audiences responded enthusiastically to the feature, it became KITT's defining characteristic. The light sequence was manually operated by a grip hiding behind the car with a modified garage door opener. This created countless continuity errors where the scanner light pattern changes mid-scene. Even more surprising, the scanner served no actual purpose in the show's mythology until halfway through Season 1, when writers hastily explained it was a molecular bonded tracking device. 9. A real self-driving K.I.T. actually existed. While most of K.I.T.'s abilities were fantasy, one working prototype actually could drive itself. For specific straight-line driving shots where the steering wheel needed to move on its own, special effects coordinator Gene Winfield built a radio-controlled hydraulic system that could operate the pedals and turn the wheel. This autonomous KITT could only travel in straight lines at speeds under 15 mph, but it represented cutting-edge technology for the early 1980s. The system proved so impressive that NASA engineers visited the set to study it for potential applications in unmanned vehicles. The autonomous function came with serious drawbacks, however. The equipment added 400 pounds to the car, making it impossible to use for any performance driving. More dangerously, the remote control operated on publicly available frequencies. During one shoot near an airport, the system unexpectedly activated when a pilot radioed the control tower, sending the driverless K.I.T. crashing into a catering truck. After this incident, scenes of the car driving itself were limited to controlled studio environments. 10. KITT's ejection seat actually injured Hasselhoff. The ejection seat wasn't just a special effect, it was a working pneumatic system that could catapult a person 8 feet into the air. During filming of the second season episode, Sole Survivor, the system malfunctioned while Hasselhoff was in the car. Instead of the stunt double being ejected, the seat activated with Hasselhoff still in position, launching him unexpectedly. Go ahead and like and subscribe because we've got even more shocking revelations coming up, including the secret reason NBC almost canceled the show mid-season, and which famous Hollywood director secretly worked as a K.I.T.T designer before becoming famous. Hasselhoff suffered 3 compressed vertebrae from the incident and filmed the next 4 episodes wearing a back brace beneath his costume. Production documents reveal the malfunction wasn't actually random. A disgruntled special effects technician had deliberately tampered with the system following a pay dispute. Rather than press charges, producers kept the incident quiet, fearing insurance complications. This injury explains the notable shift in Season 2, where Michael Knight suddenly performs fewer physical stunts and is rarely shown running. Hasselhoff literally couldn't move normally for the remainder of the season. 11. The original K.I.T. design was stolen. KITT's distinctive look wasn't created for Knight Rider at all. The sleek modified Trans Am with its elongated nose and specialized interior was actually designed 2 years earlier for a completely different project. A sci-fi movie called Firebird 2025 that was never produced. When Universal acquired the abandoned property, they repurposed the vehicle designs without crediting or compensating the original designer, Andrew Probert. Probert, who later gained fame for designing the Enterprise D for Star Trek: The Next Generation, filed a lawsuit that was settled out of court. As part of the settlement, Probert was brought on as a consultant for Season 3, where his influence can be seen in K.I.T.T's Super Pursuit Mode upgrade. The painful irony? Probert's original concept included many features that were deemed too futuristic for Knight Rider, including GPS navigation, collision avoidance systems, and a backup camera, all standard features in modern vehicles. 12. K.I.T. was secretly a different car. In some episodes, while K.I.T. was always portrayed as a 1982 Pontiac Trans Am, attentive viewers might notice something off in certain episodes. During a 3-week period when General Motors faced a parts shortage, Universal couldn't obtain replacement Trans Ams. In a desperate move, they modified 3 1980 Chevrolet Camaros to look like K.I.T.T. These Camaro kits appeared in 4 episodes during the second season. The production team went to extraordinary lengths to hide the substitution, including limiting the angles at which the cars could be filmed and adding fake body panels. Eagle-eyed fans spot the differences: slightly altered wheelbase, different side window shapes, and most tellingly, the absence of the Trans Am's signature hood scoop. When Pontiac executives discovered the substitution, they were furious. The contract specifically prohibited using competitive vehicles. As punishment, they withheld delivery of new Trans Ams for the next 3 episodes, forcing the production to reuse increasingly damaged vehicles held together with duct tape and hope. 13. KITT's interior wasn't from a Trans Am. If you've ever wondered why KITT's interior looks nothing like a standard Trans Am, there's good reason. It wasn't one. The interior shots were filmed using a completely different vehicle: the gutted shell of a 1978 Dodge Monaco mounted on a custom platform. This interior buck allowed cameras more room to film inside while providing space for the elaborate custom dashboard. The Monaco shell sat stationary in the studio, never moving an inch during its screen time. This created a significant continuity challenge. The exterior Trans Am had a completely different dashboard than the interior set. Watch closely during scenes where characters enter or exit K.I.T.T. You'll never see a continuous shot following someone from outside to inside. The transitions always feature a cut because they're entirely different vehicles. This discrepancy became so problematic that directors were given a special handbook of KITT safe shots, angles that wouldn't reveal the inconsistencies between the cars. 14. The KITT sound effect has a secret origin. KITT's distinctive electronic hum, that futuristic purr accompanying the car in every scene, wasn't created with synthesizers as most assume. Sound designer Richard Anderson created it by recording a refrigerator motor, then playing it backward and adjusting the speed. This distinctive sound became so associated with the character that when Anderson tried to use a more traditional engine sound in one episode, test audiences complained that KITT sounds sick. Universal Studios recognized the sound's value and took the unusual step of copyrighting the audio signature. When Toyota launched a TV commercial in 1986 featuring a car with a similar sound effect, Universal successfully sued for infringement. Perhaps most surprisingly, the sound wasn't added in post-production. It was played through hidden speakers during filming to help actors respond to the car's presence. This detail-oriented approach explains why characters naturally turn toward K.I.T.T when he speaks, even before his dialogue begins. 15. K.I.T.T was the most expensive TV car. Ever built by the end of Knight Rider's run, K.I.T.T held the record as television's most expensive vehicle. Each fully equipped hero car cost approximately $125,000 in 1982 dollars, equivalent to about $500,000 today. More than 5 times the price of a standard Trans Am. The expense came not just from the custom bodywork, but from the complex practical effects systems built into each vehicle. Each hero, KITT, contained over 48 separate electronic systems, requiring a dedicated power generator that had to be hidden during filming. The cars were so heavily modified that their warranties were voided before they even reached the set. During Season 3, the production's insurance company insisted on having a fire truck on standby during all K.I.T. interior scenes after multiple electrical fires. By the series finale, the show had spent more on cars than on actor salaries, with maintenance costs alone exceeding $2 million. When NBC executives questioned the expense, producer Glenn Larson famously replied, "KITT's the star. Hasselhoff is just the guy who rides in the star." 16. There was a secret KITT operator inside the car. KITT's seemingly autonomous abilities, doors opening, windows rolling up, and systems activating, weren't special effects. They were manually controlled by a person hiding inside the car. In most driving scenes, a stunt driver operated KITT while wearing a special black hood that rendered them nearly invisible on camera. For stationary scenes, a small-statured crew member named Bobby Porter, who stood 5.1, would curl up under the dashboard, manually triggering switches and controls on cue. Porter became so essential to production that he earned the nickname KITT's Soul and received a special credit as Interior Animation Coordinator. His presence explains why actors rarely put anything on KITT's passenger seat and why certain camera angles were strictly prohibited. On several occasions, attentive viewers can spot Porter's hand quickly disappearing from frame. Most remarkably, Porter remained unmentioned in production notes, specifically to maintain the illusion that KITT operated independently. Many guest directors weren't told about him until they arrived on set. 17. KITT's brain was a real artificial intelligence prototype. While most of KITT's technology was pure fantasy, his central processing unit was based on a genuine AI research project. The Knight 2000 microprocessor, seen in close-ups, was actually a modified version of an experimental pattern recognition system developed by MIT's Artificial Intelligence Laboratory. The production borrowed the non-functioning prototype for filming, but the researchers who created it were so impressed with the show's portrayal of machine learning that they named their next-generation system Knight 1. The connection grew stronger when William Daniels, K.I.T.'s voice, visited MIT in 1985 and recorded several dialogue prompts that were incorporated into the actual research interface. Decades later, when Toyota was developing early self-driving technology in 2015, they consulted Knight Rider's technical advisor Jack Gill about how the show had conceptualized machine-human interaction. While K.I.T.'s capabilities were wildly exaggerated for television, the core concept of an advanced vehicle computer capable of independent decision-making wasn't as fictional as viewers assumed. 18. K.I.T.T had a secret political message. Knight Rider debuted during a period of significant change in the American auto industry, with Japanese manufacturers gaining market share and Detroit struggling. KITT's creation as an American supercar wasn't just entertainment. It was deliberately crafted as a statement about U.S. manufacturing prowess. Network documents reveal NBC executives specifically requested the hero car be American-made, rejecting early concepts featuring a Datsun 280ZX. The show received partial funding from domestic auto parts manufacturers and featured prominent Made in America messaging. KITT's ability to outperform foreign vehicles, particularly in scenes where he races against Porsches and Ferraris, was a deliberate narrative choice. This nationalistic subtext became explicit in a controversial third-season episode where KITT faces off against KAR, originally conceived as a Japanese-built rival before network censors demanded changes. Producer Glenn Larson later acknowledged the show served as favorable propaganda for the American auto industry during a challenging transition period, with Pontiac specifically crediting Knight Rider for a 15% sales increase in Trans Ams during an otherwise declining market. 19. KITT's voice almost belonged to someone very different. William Daniels wasn't the first choice to voice KITT. The role was originally offered to Gene Hackman, who recorded a full episode before producers decided his voice was too recognizable and would distract viewers. Other actors who recorded test tracks included Lloyd Bridges, Richard Chamberlain, and most surprisingly, John Wayne. A tape of Wayne's KITT voice test remained legendary among crew members, with the iconic cowboy actor struggling to deliver technical dialogue. After cycling through 12 different actors, producers settled on Daniels for his precise, slightly condescending tone. Ironically, Daniels initially rejected the role, believing it was beneath him. He only accepted after his agent negotiated an unusual contract stipulating that he would never be publicly acknowledged as K.I.T.'s voice during the original run. His credit was deliberately left ambiguous as Knight Industries 2000, voiced by William Daniels, rather than directly stating he was KITT. This arrangement allowed Daniels to maintain his serious acting credentials while still collecting paychecks from what he considered a silly talking car show. 20. The final KITT car disappeared under mysterious circumstances. When Knight Rider ended in 1986, Universal Studios retained 3 hero K.I.T.s for their studio tour and potential movie projects. These valuable vehicles were kept under tight security until one vanished in 1991. The most screen-used hero car, containing all functional interior electronics, disappeared from a locked storage facility. Studio documents filed with insurance companies labeled the disappearance "unexplained removal," stopping short of calling it theft. Industry rumors suggested the car was secretly sold to a private collector, while others claimed it was dismantled for parts to restore the remaining vehicles. The mystery deepened in 2007, when photographs of a pristinely restored K.I.T.T with matching serial numbers surfaced online, allegedly located in a private collection in Saudi Arabia. Universal Studios initiated an investigation but quietly dropped the matter without explanation. Former production coordinator David Johnson later hinted at the truth in an interview. "Let's just say someone very high up got a very special retirement gift, and the paperwork was handled in a creative way." To this day, Universal maintains the official position that the vehicle's whereabouts remain unknown. Bonus fact: the most shocking secret about K.I.T. emerged decades after Knight Rider ended. Following the September 11th attacks, government defense contractors quietly purchased the technical blueprints for K.I.T.'s surveillance systems from Universal Studios for research into autonomous security vehicles. The Department of Defense's Project Nightwatch incorporated several concepts originally developed as fictional props for the show, particularly KITT's infrared tracking system and molecular bonded shell. The original technical advisors for Knight Rider were contacted to consult on early development phases before the project was ultimately classified. David Hasselhoff confirmed this unexpected legacy during a 2019 technology conference, revealing he had been approached by defense officials who explained that Knight Rider had accidentally predicted several technologies that would become crucial to modern security systems. While obviously K.I.T.'s full capabilities weren't possible, the conceptual framework the show established, an autonomous vehicle capable of surveillance, tracking, and responding to threats without human intervention, became the foundation for actual military research that continues today. In the end, Knight Rider wasn't just a cheesy action show about a man and his talking car. It was a prophetic glimpse into our technological future, inspiring generations of engineers and programmers who grew up watching a black Trans Am perform the impossible. From self-driving cars to voice assistants, KITT's DNA lives on in the technology we use every day. If you enjoyed these revelations about television's most famous car, hit like and subscribe for more behind-the-scenes secrets from your favorite shows and movies. Remember, sometimes the most fantastic fiction has more truth behind it than we ever suspected.